You know that moment on a long valley road where the dust is on the windshield, the sun is a little too strong, and everyone in the car has gone quiet? That was us, leaving Skardu toward Kharmang, thinking, let's just do one easy waterfall stop. Nothing hardcore, just one soft hour.
And the deal was very clear. No epic track, no heroic Instagram hike. We had been in the car for hours already. I remember saying, almost warning you, if this turns into a climbing mission, I'm staying in the car.
Exactly. So if you're listening and thinking, I'm not a hiker, I just want a simple waterfall break, this episode is your stop. We're taking you with us for one gentle hour at Manthokha Waterfall, from the dusty road to sweet chai and back to the car, without anyone slipping on rocks or getting exhausted.
And it really started ordinary. Leaving Skardu, the city noise fades so fast. After a few kilometers, it's just that familiar northern Pakistan road rhythm. Curves, dry slopes, the river showing up and disappearing again, and us poking the windshield saying, Yar, this dust is becoming a filter now.
Yeah, that dusty filter. It actually made the light softer. And I remember thinking, if we don't break this drive with something green and cold, this road will just blend into every other valley day. That's when Manthokha came back into the conversation, not as a big mission, just as a little reward.
We had seen those dramatic photos before, right? Big white curtain of water, hardcore vibes. But the GPS reality is different. You're on the Skardu Kharmang road, you see the board, and it's like, okay, side road, small detour. It doesn't feel like you're signing up for an expedition.
And that's important. Manthokha looks wild on Instagram, but for us, this was a low-effort escape. As we turned off the main road, the valley started narrowing. The river sounded closer. The air suddenly felt cooler through the half-open windows, and that long, lazy mood in the car started to lift.
There's this nice little build-up. First, you just hear more water. It's not the waterfall yet, just the river getting a bit louder. Then you see more green near houses, small fields, a few kids on the side of the road, and you think, okay, something is changing. We're leaving the pure highway mood.
Now, one quick practical thing here. Before we committed, we quietly checked two things. First, is the place even open enough for a short visit? That means, is there some activity around? A few parked cars, maybe a dhaba sign. Not total emptiness. Second, time. We literally looked at the clock and said, we have 1 hour. That's it. In and out calmly.
Yeah, if you're driving from Skardu, that time check matters. We promised ourselves we wouldn't chase the perfect angle or the closest rock to the spray. We'd just enjoy what was easy and safe in that 1 hour window. So if you're traveling with kids or parents, adopt that little rule early. Soft hour, not hero hour.
As we rolled closer, that soft thunder of the waterfall finally started to separate from the general river noise. It's a deeper, more focused sound, like something constantly rushing just ahead of you. We still didn't see the falls, but the sound alone woke everybody up. Someone in the back actually sat up and asked, "Are we there?"
And we did the classic tourist move. Windows down, head slightly forward, trying to hear better, like sound travels faster if you lean. That buildup was honestly one of my favorite parts. The road, the sound, and that feeling of, okay, we chose to make this drive special.
Then came the very unglamorous but very important step, parking. Manthokha isn't a giant plaza with multi-level parking. You usually get a mix of basic parking area and some roadside slots. Our rule was simple: be boring. We looked for a spot that was flat, off the main flow of cars, where we weren't blocking anyone, even if it meant walking a few extra meters.
Exactly. Do not be the person who parks on a blind turn because it's 10 steps closer. Up here, safe and boring is cool. We also checked that we could exit easily if a couple of vans came in later. Think of your future self trying to get out when everyone wants to leave at sunset.
Once the engine went off, there was that second of silence, and then the waterfall sound took over. That tall, steady rush in the background. Before we even started walking, we did a super quick bag check. And honestly, for this soft hour, we carried just one small bag.
Inside that bag, water, light snacks just in case, a small towel, a light extra layer because spray plus breeze can feel cooler than the car. And this is key: everyone's phone in a safe pocket. No dangling phones in hand near wet stones. We also left heavy gear behind. You don't need your whole trekking setup for this one.
And footwear. Let's talk honestly. At a waterfall, slippers plus slimy rock equals drama. If you remember one gear tip from this episode, remember this. Sturdy, grippy shoes or sandals with a backstrap. You don't need hiking boots, but you do want something that doesn't slide the moment it meets wet stone.
I still remember watching one guy tiptoe in thin city slippers, holding his phone in one hand, trying to get closer to the water. The stress on his face said everything. Don't be that guy. If you have elders or kids with you, keep everyone on the obvious, drier path. No just one step on that shiny rock adventures.
So, bag ready, shoes sorted, we walked toward that first full view. And when Manthokha finally appeared, it really was a tall white curtain. The water just drops from way up, clean and direct, with that bit of spray floating in front like light rain. Around it, you get stone, a little green, and that constant calming roar.
The nice surprise was how straightforward the initial path is. You get a simple stone or dirt route, some railing sections, nothing too dramatic. It's not a manicured city park, but you don't have to jump between boulders either, at least for the soft viewing areas we chose. That's where we made our second rule for the day. We will enjoy from the safe sounds we can clearly see.
Exactly. When you start walking on those stone paths, think like a guide for your own group. Look down as much as you look at the waterfall. Notice which stones look darker and wet and which are dry and rough. Dark and shiny usually means slippery. With kids and elders, I like to literally point and say, this line here, we stay on this. No need to cross over there.
Also, don't feel pressure to reach the closest spot. We picked a realistic viewpoint where the spray kissed the air, but the ground was still solid and not soaked. From there, the waterfall filled our eyes and ears, and our clothes stayed mostly dry. That's a win in my book.
If you're traveling with a mixed group, here's a tiny system that worked for us. We agreed on one main viewpoint, the spot where you can see the full height comfortably, hear the roar clearly, and the path is still friendly. Kids and elders stayed there with one of us. Anyone who wanted to wander just a bit closer did it in turns, never leaving the whole group scattered across wet stones.
I went a little closer for photos, but even then, I had this personal rule. No stepping beyond the last place where I saw dry footprints. The moment stones looked constantly soaked, I stopped. Waterfalls can surprise you. One small slip can turn your soft hour into an unwanted adventure.
And speaking of photos, we did all the typical shots. Wide shots with the full drop, a couple of portraits with the mist behind us, some videos to capture the sound. But very quickly we decided, okay, phone's back in the bag. The spray feels different when you're not thinking, is my camera safe?
Yeah, that first moment I zipped my phone away and just stood there, the cool mist hit my face, and suddenly the whole car journey left my body. The heat from the seats, the dust, all of it. It felt like standing in front of a cold fan that smells like stone and river. Very simple, very refreshing.
If you've been in a hot car for hours, that spray is like a reset button. Not a dramatic shout and scream kind of reset, just a quiet, deep breath kind. You hear the rush, you feel your shirt get a tiny bit cooler, and you think, okay, this was worth it.
Of course, we did have that one very human moment. Chilo yar chai? Because what is a waterfall stop in northern Pakistan without chai? So we drifted away from the spray and headed toward a basic dhaba overlooking the water.
Now, manage your expectations here. Manthokha is not a fancy food court. Think simple wooden or plastic chairs, basic tables, the sound of water in the background, and a menu that's usually chai, maybe doodh patti, some basic pakoras, maybe omelet or dal roti if you're lucky and it's mealtime.
We ordered sweet chai and some simple snacks. Prices were reasonable. Not city cheap, but nothing shocking either. Just remember you're paying for the location too. Carry some cash, don't rely on card machines this deep in the valley, and don't come expecting fancy lattes or a full restaurant menu.
As we waited, we did another practical check, washrooms. This is one of those things nobody talks about in dreamy travel posts, but everyone needs to know. Around places like Manthokha, you'll usually find very basic facilities. Think simple structure, bucket or tap, bring your own tissues or wipes, and don't expect hotel-level cleanliness.
The way I look at it is if the washroom exists and is usable, that's already a bonus. Just go in with the mindset that it's there for necessity, not comfort. If you're traveling with family, especially kids, it's good to stop here even if no one really needs it yet. Saves you from emergency stops later on the highway.
So there we were, sitting on those simple chairs, sipping hot, sweet tea, watching the waterfall in the distance, and the spray drifting like a soft curtain. Nothing dramatic, just a calm, complete moment. 1 hour earlier, we were a tired car group. Now we were a little quieter, a little lighter.
I liked that it didn't try too hard. No loud music, no forced entertainment, just nature doing its thing and a dhaba owner doing his. Sometimes that's exactly what you want, especially if you've got elders or someone in your group who gets overwhelmed by crowds.
But the soft hour has an end, and this is where many trips go wrong. We enjoy so much that we forget the time, and then the drive back becomes a race. We were very clear, no racing. So before we ordered a second round of chai, we checked 3 things: time, energy, and light.
Time was simple. We knew how long it would take to get back to Skardu or onward to Kharmang if we continued. So we counted backward from when we wanted to arrive calmly. We gave ourselves a little buffer and said, okay, we leave the waterfall by this time, no compromise.
Energy check was more about people than schedules. We looked at each other and asked, anyone getting a headache? Anyone cold from the spray? Anyone hungry beyond snacks? If someone had said, I'm not feeling great, we would have left a bit earlier. A soft stop should send you back to the car feeling better, not drained.
And then light. In northern valleys, light disappears faster than you think once the sun dips behind the mountains. We made sure we had enough daylight left to do the drive without feeling pressured. Waterfall memories are nicer when they're not followed by, we drove the last hour in full stress mode.
So we paid, thanked the dhaba owner, took one last long look at that white ribbon of water, and walked back along the same safe path. No one last close-up shot, no new slippery experiments, just a steady return to the car.
Back at the car, she was a little dusty again, clothes just slightly cooler from the mist. We did a quick mental recap. Bag, phones, any wrappers, nothing left behind. Then we pulled out slowly, the waterfall sound fading back into the general valley noise, and the drive felt lighter. Same road, better mood.
If you want to copy this soft waterfall hour for Manthokha, or honestly for many roadside nature spots in northern Pakistan, here's the simple formula we used. 1. Commit to a realistic time window. Around 1 hour is enough to arrive, walk, sit, and leave without rushing. 2. Park boring and safe, even if it's not the closest spot.
3. Pack light but smart. Grippy footwear, a small bag, water, a light extra layer, and your phone safely tucked away when you're near wet stones. 4. Choose a clear, safe viewpoint and make that your main base, especially for kids and elders. No need to chase the closest possible photo.
5. Enjoy some simple chai or snacks if they're available, but keep your expectations modest. Basic dhaba, basic facilities, big nature. And 6, before that second cup of tea, check your time, energy, and light so the drive afterwards stays relaxed, not rushed.
If you'd like this all written down in an easy format, with a tiny packing list, comfort tips, and a very simple timing guide for Manthokha, we've put together a printable mini plan for you.
Just visit our website for this episode's Manthokha Waterfall Soft Hour Guide. You'll find flexible notes on parking, basic facilities, and seasonal updates, so you can adjust to whatever the day looks like when you arrive. Use it as your little roadmap to turn a normal Skardu Kharmang drive into a bright, gentle memory.